Aliens called it scrap. A human reprogrammed the ship and achieved the impossible. Aaron adjusted his seat in the cockpit of his small salvage ship, the Starling. The sensors blinked and hummed quietly, scanning the expanse of dark space ahead. Most pilots would have avoided this sector. It was old, empty, and dangerous, a place where ancient ships wed to die, far from trade routes and patrol fleets. But Aaron had no choice. Credits were low, and the scrapyards closer to civilization had been picked clean. "Come on! Show me something!" he muttered to himself, leaning closer to the monitor. The scanner flickered, then beeped sharply. A small, irregular object appeared on the display. It wasn't on any star charts. Aaron's eyes narrowed. That's interesting. The object floated silently, half hidden in a cloud of cosmic dust. At first glance, it looked like a derelict ship, a mess of twisted metal and scorch marks. But there was something unusual about it. The hull, though battered, had an odd symmetry. It was clear it was built for speed and power, not cargo. And the strange patterns etched along its surface, those weren't just decorative. "Alien design," Aaron whispered. "And probably old enough to make the museums jealous." Other scavengers had avoided this sector for decades. Rumors said ships there were cursed, haunted by AI ghosts of old wars. Aaron didn't believe in ghosts, but he did believe in opportunity. And this, he decided, was opportunity knocking. The Starling hummed as Aaron powered up its grappling arm. Slowly. He moved closer to the drifting object. Every meter brought it into clearer view. He could see faint markings glowing along the hull. "Not lights, symbols." Alien symbols. He felt a thrill in his chest. "No one's touched this in centuries," he said almost aloud. The thought made him grin. "The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward!" Aaron secured the ship's magnetic clamps and activated his boarding pod. The airlock hissed, and the pod detached from the Starling, drifting silently toward the mysterious craft. The moment he entered the alien ship, Aaron felt a chill. The interior was vast, far larger than its exterior suggested. The walls were lined with strange panels that pulsed faintly with light. A low hum filled the air, almost like a heartbeat. He realized the ship was alive. Not literally, of course, but it responded subtly to his presence. "This is amazing," Aaron whispered. He moved carefully, boots clanking against the metal floor. He tapped his scanner against the walls. The readings were all over the place. Energy flows, dormant AI cores, ancient power cells. He had never seen technology like this. Suddenly, a panel slid open on its own. A holographic projection flickered into existence. Alien symbols rotated slowly, forming complex patterns that made Aaron's head spin. He reached out, and the hologram responded to his movement, spinning faster as if acknowledging him. "What?" he muttered. Aaron's hand shook slightly. He had salvaged countless ships before, but nothing like this. The aliens who had built this vessel had been masters of engineering, far beyond anything humans had made yet. And yet, it was abandoned. Labeled scrap by its own creators. He walked deeper into the ship, examining control consoles and data cores. Some panels were cracked, others completely black. A strange AI core sat in the center of the main chamber, dormant and quiet. Its surface glowed faintly, like a heartbeat slowed to a whisper. Aaron crouched and tapped on it with his hand scanner. Data streamed into his device, alien code that made no sense at first glance. It was complex, layered, and adaptive. Humans were not supposed to understand this, but Aaron was stubborn. "If they called it scrap, they were wrong," he said. "Humans can fix anything." A sudden sound made him jump. A hatch in the far wall slid open. Shadows moved across the chamber. Another ship, or worse, another scavenger, was here. "Who's there?" Aaron called, but the only answer was silence. He gritted his teeth and activated a small stun baton, ready for confrontation. Nothing emerged. After a tense minute, he relaxed. Probably just an automated patrol drone. Or maybe the ship itself reacting to him. Aaron ignored it. He had work to do. He began documenting the ship's structure, mapping power flows and control nodes. Every discovery was a puzzle piece, and Aaron loved puzzles. His mind raced with possibilities. This ship, if he could bring it to life, could make him rich beyond imagination. Or it could kill him, but risk was part of the job. Hours passed. Aaron's small pod was cramped, but he barely noticed. He moved from chamber to chamber, uncovering ancient weapons, strange propulsion systems, and walls covered in alien script. He felt like a child discovering a treasure chest. Finally, he reached the command deck. The main console sat like a throne, dormant but powerful. He ran his fingers across the controls. To his surprise, the console reacted. A small screen lit up, displaying a series of alien symbols that slowly morphed into shapes he could recognize. Arrows, grids, and circles.
Okay.
Maybe I can talk to you after all, he muttered. Aaron spent the next few hours experimenting. He discovered the ship's AI could respond to logical sequences, patterns, and trial and error. He fed it basic instructions: move, stop, power up lights. Slowly, the ship began to respond. A light flickered along the hull, then another. The engines purred faintly. It was working. But then a warning flashed on one of the panels. An alien symbol he couldn't decipher. The AI seemed to warn him of a danger. Aaron frowned. Dangerous how? Explosive? Self-destruct? He tapped the panel again. Nothing! Then the AI pulsed almost impatiently. Aaron realized something. The ship wasn't just a tool, it was alive in its own way. It didn't understand humans, but it could learn, and it was deciding whether to cooperate. Looks like we're going to have to trust each other, Aaron whispered. As he continued, he found a hidden compartment under the command deck. Inside lay a series of data cores, intact and humming softly. The cores contained maps, coordinates, and records of the ship's missions. Most of it was alien history, but one file caught Aaron's eye. It was a list of locations labeled as unreachable or forbidden. He smiled. Unreachable, huh? That's my kind of challenge. But time was not on his side. Aaron had been aboard for almost a full rotation. He needed to return to the Starling before life support ran low. Carefully, he packed the data cores and prepared to leave. As he detached the pod from the alien ship, he glanced back one last time. The ship seemed to pulse, as if acknowledging him. Aaron felt a thrill of excitement. He had discovered something incredible. An alien ship far more advanced than anything humans had built. And he had touched its systems, begun to communicate with it. Aliens called it scrap, he muttered. They were wrong. Humans can do the impossible. Back in the cockpit of the Starling, Aaron set a course for his home base. He barely slept that night, too excited to rest. He pored over the data cores, analyzing alien systems and schematics. Every line of code, every strange symbol sparked ideas in his mind. And one thought kept repeating, louder and louder. If I can make this ship work, no one will believe what humans are capable of. Little did Aaron know, the moment he touched the ship, a chain of events had begun that would take him far beyond known space, into danger, wonder, and challenges no human had ever faced. The scrap ship had chosen him, and humans, as always, were about to turn the impossible into reality. Aaron's small cabin on the Starling was cluttered with tools, screens, and alien data cores. The faint hum of the ship's engines was the only sound besides his own breathing. He had never felt this alive. The discovery of the alien vessel, the so-called scrap, had lit a fire in him that no human job or credit run could ever match. He spread the alien schematics across the table. Lines of glowing code, symbols, and circuits danced across his monitors. At first glance, it made no sense. It was far too complex for a human mind. The patterns didn't follow the logic of human engineering. But Aaron knew one thing. Humans were good at solving puzzles, even impossible ones. He picked up a stylus and began mapping out the code in simple patterns he could understand. If I can't read it, I'll teach it to speak my language, he muttered. Hours turned into days. Aaron barely ate, rarely slept, completely absorbed in deciphering the alien systems. Every time he thought he understood a sequence, it would shift or adapt.
The ship seemed to test him, like it was alive and curious about whether he was worthy. "All right, little scrap," Aaron said, leaning over a console. "Let's see what humans can do." He started with the AI core. It pulsed faintly, almost like it was breathing. Aaron tapped in a simple instruction. "Light on." The panel flickered, then glowed steadily. He smiled.
A tiny victory, but it was proof he could communicate.
Next, he tried moving one of the smaller thrusters.
But using logic and patterns, Aaron coaxed the system. The thruster fired briefly, then stopped. "Yes!" he exclaimed. "You're listening to me!" Days passed like this. Aaron learned to work with the alien AI in steps. Every function he unlocked was a small triumph.
He could light corridors, spin panels, power up weapon mounts, and even analyze the ship's energy flows. Yet every time he reached a breakthrough, the ship presented a new puzzle. One morning, as he adjusted the AI sequence for propulsion, a strange event occurred. The entire ship pulsed, and holographic projections filled the room.
Alien symbols rotated faster than before, creating intricate patterns that danced across the walls. The AI was trying to communicate, or maybe warn him. Aaron's mind raced. "I don't know what you're saying, but I can learn."
He noticed that the AI responded to unconventional human logic.
When he stopped following the expected alien sequences and introduced trial and error, improvisation, and even small mistakes, the AI adapted. Slowly, it began to recognize his intent rather than his exact method.
"This is it," Aaron said quietly. "Humans don't just follow rules. We think differently."
With that insight, he pushed further. He began merging alien code with simple human algorithms.
He wasn't just repairing the ship, he was teaching it to understand him. And it worked.
Small systems that had been dormant for centuries roared to life under his guidance. Aaron's work did not go unnoticed. The moment the Starling sensors detected the alien ship awakening, other scavengers in the sector became suspicious. One evening, as he was running a diagnostic on the main engines, a warning flashed on his console. Another ship was approaching, fast, aggressive, and clearly interested in the scrap. "They don't like me touching their toys," Aaron muttered. He prepared the Starling, activating defensive protocols. But the other ship didn't attack immediately. Instead, it drifted alongside, scanning. A voice crackled over the comm system in an alien tone. "You tamper with property. Leave." Aaron laughed, shaking his head. "Property? This is a ship that was abandoned, and I'm about to make it work again." He returned to the alien vessel. Inside, the AI seemed to sense the threat.
Panels glowed brighter, corridors shifted subtly, and defensive systems hummed, ready to protect their new partner. Aaron realized something profound. The ship wasn't just a tool.
It was a living system that could learn, adapt, and even fight. And he, a human, was teaching it in ways the original aliens had never considered.
For the next several days, Aaron worked feverishly. He reprogrammed the power distribution to handle higher energy outputs, modified the propulsion systems for better agility, and even managed to partially reactivate the alien navigation matrix.
Every step was a challenge. The AI tested him, sometimes shutting systems down or throwing errors that made no sense.
But every time, Aaron improvised. He figured out patterns, used logic no alien had designed for, and slowly, the impossible became possible.
One night, as he adjusted the ship's power core, a spark shot across a console. Lights flickered, alarms blared, and the AI pulsed violently.
Aaron froze. This was more than a warning. It was a challenge. The ship was alive, and it had just realized he could control it. He took a deep breath and stepped forward.
"I'm not afraid," he said. "I'll work with you, not against you." For hours, he carefully ran sequences to stabilize the core.
Sweat ran down his forehead, and his hands shook. Finally, the system calmed.
The AI pulsed softly, almost like it had exhaled. Aaron smiled weakly. "See? We're a team!" The next breakthrough came when he managed to interface the alien AI with the Starling systems.
Now he could test the ship's movement without leaving the safety of his smaller craft. He activated the main thrusters. The alien ship shuddered at first, as if surprised by its own power. Then, with a smooth hum, it glided forward, responding perfectly to Aaron's commands.
"This is incredible," Aaron whispered. "You actually work." He spent the next few hours pushing the ship's capabilities. It accelerated, turned, and stabilized as if it had always known how to obey a human pilot. Aaron's heart raced. He realized that the aliens who had abandoned this vessel had underestimated humans. They had built something extraordinary, but they never imagined it could be reprogrammed with human logic, unpredictable, creative, flexible. But the universe rarely gives humans an easy path. As Aaron continued testing the ship, he noticed anomalies in the sensors. Small ships, faster and sleeker than anything he had seen, were appearing on the edge of scanned space. They were not just scouts. They were hunters, alien scavengers, or maybe patrols from the civilization that had abandoned this craft were closing in. Aaron knew confrontation was inevitable, but he felt no fear. "Let them come," he said. "They'll see what humans can do." He prepared defensive protocols using both the alien ship's weapons and his own ingenuity.
Unlike the aliens, he didn't rely solely on raw power or technology. He set traps, misdirections, and adaptive countermeasures, teaching the ship to respond to unexpected threats. Then the first skirmish came. A sleek alien fighter darted toward him, firing energy pulses.
The ship shuddered, but Aaron calmly rerouted power to the shields. He activated the alien ship's weapon systems, reprogrammed to human logic, and counterattacked.
Within minutes, the small attacker was forced to retreat, surprised by the unexpected tactics. Aaron's grin was wide.
"You see that? Humans think differently."
By the time the day ended, the alien vessel had fully accepted Aaron's commands.
It was no longer just scrap. It was alive in a new way, a hybrid of alien engineering and human ingenuity. And Aaron had learned the most important lesson of all. Human creativity could unlock what even the most advanced alien civilizations thought impossible.
As night fell across distant stars, Aaron stood on the observation deck, staring out at the void. The ship hovered silently beside him, almost like a guardian. He realized that this was only the beginning. He had awakened the ship, learned its systems, and survived the first alien confrontations.
But what lay beyond the mapped stars, in sectors the aliens had labeled forbidden, Aaron didn't know yet. But one thing was certain: he was ready. Humans had always survived the impossible, and now with this ship, he could reach heights that no one had dared imagine. He smiled, gripping the railing tightly. "Let's see where the impossible takes us." And with that, the first stage of his journey was complete.
The ship, once scrap, was alive. And Aaron, a human among the stars, had proven that sometimes the smallest spark of human ingenuity could ignite the greatest revolutions. The universe, vast and silent, was watching. Aaron stood on the observation deck of the alien vessel, now fully awakened under his guidance. The stars stretched infinitely around him, a silent sea of possibilities. The Starling had long been left behind, docked safely in orbit of a nearby asteroid as he focused on learning the alien ship's systems. The hum of the engines beneath his feet was comforting, almost like a heartbeat.
"This is it," he whispered. "Time to see what this ship can really do."
With a deep breath, he engaged the main thrusters. The ship shuddered at first, then surged forward with smooth precision.
Unlike any human ship, this vessel could adapt instantly to maneuvers, like it was learning in real time. Aaron felt a thrill that made his chest tighten. Humans were always underestimated, and here he was, piloting what aliens had called scrap and making it dance among the stars. The destination was a sector the alien records had labeled forbidden. Charts were blank. Warnings filled every database. Civilizations that came near never returned. Or so the data suggested. Aaron didn't care.
Humans thrived on risk. The more dangerous, the more rewarding.
Hours passed. The stars became unfamiliar constellations. Aaron's ship, learning from his commands, adjusted its shields, propulsion, and sensors in perfect harmony. Every sudden asteroid or debris field was dodged instinctively.
For the first time, he felt fully in sync with alien technology. But the calm didn't last.
The sensors picked up movement. Small blips, fast and numerous. Alien ships.
They were sleek, dangerous, and far faster than the vessel he commanded. They found me, Aaron muttered, gripping the railing. He accessed the weapons systems. He had spent days integrating alien technology with human ingenuity. Adaptive shields, energy weapons that could change their frequency, and defensive countermeasures designed not to match the aliens' expectations, but to surprise them. The first wave arrived, 3 fighters darting like angry hornets toward him. The alien AI pulsed and reacted instantly to his commands. Aaron had programmed it to anticipate human-style unpredictability. The fighters fired energy pulses. Shields flared. Aaron smiled. Let's show them how humans fight. He redirected the ship's energy to the front shields, then diverted a fraction to an adaptive energy pulse system. As the first fighter drew near, the ship released a blinding burst of light, disorienting its sensors. The fighter veered off course, crashing into a small asteroid. The second fighter adjusted, expecting repetition, but Aaron was already moving. The ship spun, twisting around the debris, and fired a pulse that cut through its hull, disabling it. The third fighter hesitated.
Its systems couldn't predict Aaron's maneuvers. He pushed the ship harder, dodging and striking, human logic guiding decisions that the aliens had never imagined.
Within minutes, all 3 attackers were gone. Aaron leaned back, panting, but his grin was wide.
Humans don't fight like anyone else. That's why we survive.
But there was no time to celebrate. On the sensors, dozens more blips appeared, larger ships, heavier and armed with weapons designed for war. The alien patrols had arrived, and now Aaron realized he wasn't just playing with scrap, he was in a battlefield centuries in the making. He accessed the alien network, studying patterns in their movements. He had learned enough from the ship's systems to predict, anticipate, and manipulate their responses. Humans thrived in situations where others relied on rules.
Where aliens assumed strict patterns, Aaron improvised. He activated defensive drones from the ship's compartments, invisible until needed, and began a series of rapid maneuvers. Asteroids, debris, and empty space became tools in his strategy. The AI, now fully cooperative, adapted to each unexpected human tactic.
The first wave of patrol cruisers approached, their weapons locked on, glowing lines cutting through space. Aaron anticipated it. He redirected energy to the adaptive shields, then fired bursts in unpredictable intervals, using reflections from nearby asteroids to confuse targeting systems. Several alien weapons misfired, striking each other instead of him.
Come on, think like a human,
Aaron whispered.
Unpredictable, creative, fast.
For hours, the battle raged.
Alien cruisers advanced, trying to encircle him. Aaron danced through space, exploiting gaps and weaknesses, using knowledge the aliens never imagined.
Small victories accumulated into a survival chain, and the ship itself began to respond more intuitively, almost as if it trusted him. Then, during a brief pause, Aaron noticed something on the long-range scanner. A massive structure, enormous, almost hidden behind a field of energy clouds.
Coordinates from the alien data cores confirmed it. The network hub. This was the source of the alien patrols, and the key to ancient technology.
Aaron's mind raced. If he could reach the hub, he could unlock the full potential of the ship. But it wouldn't be easy. The hub was heavily defended, and the patrols were only a taste of what awaited. He set a course, preparing the ship. "Time to see what humans can really do," he said. As the ship moved toward the hub, dozens of enemy fighters surged forward, determined to stop him. Aaron's heart pounded. But fear was a luxury he didn't have. Humans thrived under pressure, and this was pressure on a cosmic scale. He guided the ship through tight maneuvers, weaving between asteroids and debris fields. Each move was unpredictable, designed not to maximize raw power but to exploit the aliens' rigid combat patterns. His fingers flew over the control interface, making split-second decisions that combined human intuition with alien engineering. The first wave of fighters was neutralized. The second wave, larger and more coordinated, approached. Aaron accessed the AI's offensive systems. Alien weapons responded in ways they never had before. Frequencies adjusted mid-fire, energy pulses changed trajectory, and defensive drones moved with human-like improvisation. By now, the AI was more than a system. It was learning from him, evolving. Every human decision taught it unpredictability, something alien designs could not foresee. Aaron realized the truth. Humans weren't the strongest, the fastest, or the most technologically advanced, but they could adapt, improvise, and think differently.
And in the end, that made them unstoppable. The alien fleet hesitated. They couldn't predict his next move, couldn't anticipate the human mind. Their tactics, honed for centuries, failed against chaos and creativity. Aaron's ship moved like a ghost, striking where none expected, retreating before attack could land. Finally, after hours of tense maneuvering, Aaron approached the hub.
It was massive, ancient, and pulsing with energy. Patrol cruisers swarmed around it, but he had learned enough. Using the alien ship's systems, he bypassed patrols, avoided detection, and positioned himself directly above the hub's main access point. He activated a final sequence, a combination of alien code and human improvisation. The ship's energy flowed into the hub's shields, bypassing protocols and creating a temporary window. Aaron exhaled.
Here goes nothing.
The alien hub pulsed, sensing his presence, then allowed access. The gates opened just long enough for him to slip inside. The fleet outside hesitated, unable to react fast enough. For the first time, Aaron felt like a master of both human ingenuity and alien engineering. Inside the hub, the scale of alien technology was overwhelming. Massive energy conduits, data streams flowing like rivers, and panels that pulsed with incomprehensible logic surrounded him. But Aaron was ready. Humans thrived on challenges, and this was the ultimate challenge. He accessed the hub's control interface.
Every sequence, every protocol, resisted his commands.
But he persisted. Humans could improvise where machines failed. Step by step, he inserted human logic into the alien systems, creating connections that no alien had imagined possible. And slowly, impossibly, the hub began to respond. Lights flickered, conduits pulsed, and energy stabilized. Systems long thought dormant roared to life. Aaron grinned, exhausted but triumphant. Humans, we really can do the impossible. The alien fleet outside continued to hover, confused and cautious. For now, the impossible had been achieved, but the battle was far from over. Aaron knew that unlocking the hub fully would require every ounce of creativity, courage, and human ingenuity he could muster. For now, though, he allowed himself a moment of victory. He had survived impossible odds, outsmarted alien patrols, and reached the forbidden heart of a civilization long forgotten. And the ship, once called Scrap, had become a partner in his journey, responding with precision, adaptability, and even a hint of understanding. Aaron looked out at the stars beyond the hub. Ahead lay greater challenges, unknown dangers, and discoveries that could change humanity forever. But he was ready. Humans had faced the impossible countless times before, and he would do it again. The hub hummed with potential. The alien ship pulsed beside him. And Aaron, a human among the stars, prepared to take the final step, the step that would prove once and for all that humans could not be underestimated. Aaron floated in the command chamber of the alien hub, his hands steady on the console. The ship, once abandoned and called Scrap, hummed beside him like a loyal companion. Lights pulsed rhythmically along the walls, reflecting the energy surging through the hub. Every system was alive, reacting to his presence and his commands. This was it. The heart of a civilization that had long underestimated humans. The hub contained knowledge, power, and technology beyond imagination. But the aliens had left it guarded by layers of impossible protocols. They had assumed no human could ever reach this point. Aaron smiled. They underestimated humans again. He activated the interface. Streams of alien code flowed before him like rivers of light. Most humans would have given up, overwhelmed by the complexity. But Aaron had learned. He had spent days teaching the ship to think differently, to adapt, to anticipate. And now, he would teach the hub the same lesson. He began inserting sequences, blending alien logic with human intuition. Where the code resisted, he improvised. Where the systems expected repetition, he introduced unpredictability. Step by step, he coaxed the hub to respond. Panels flickered, conduits pulsed, and for the first time, the hub acknowledged his commands. "Good," he muttered, excitement building. "You're learning." But then a warning flashed across the interface. Alien fleets had mobilized outside the hub, larger and faster than ever. They had detected the intrusion and were preparing to destroy him. The hub's sensors picked up dozens of cruisers forming a blockade. This was no longer a test, it was a battle for survival. Aaron's mind raced. Humans thrived in impossible situations, and this was the ultimate test. He accessed the alien ship beside him. Weapon systems were fully functional, but Aaron had learned that raw power alone would not win this fight. He needed strategy, improvisation, and unpredictability. Human strengths the aliens could never predict. He activated the hub's defensive grid. Energy shields rippled outward, forming a protective dome around the ship. The alien cruisers fired and their blasts struck the shields, fizzing harmlessly. Aaron smiled. Too predictable! He then launched a series of drones, small and agile, programmed to mimic human improvisation. They darted between the cruisers, disrupting their formations, confusing their targeting systems. The alien ships adjusted, but Aaron was already one step ahead, predicting every move. Hours passed. The battle raged in silence across the void, a deadly dance of energy and tactics. Aaron guided the ship with precision, turning the alien vessels against one another using the hub's systems in ways the original engineers had never imagined. Then came the moment of opportunity. One of the alien cruisers fired a massive energy blast aimed directly at the hub's core. Aaron reacted instantly, rerouting power through the ship's adaptive shielding and countering with a precisely timed energy pulse. The blast was absorbed, reflected, and redirected, striking the cruiser itself and disabling it. "Humans don't fight like anyone else," Aaron said quietly. "We think differently." "We survive differently." The remaining alien fleet faltered, unable to anticipate his next moves. Aaron guided the hub and the ship to a central node, the core of the network. This was the heart of the ancient civilization's technology, a place no human had ever touched. The alien AI in the ship pulsed, as if acknowledging the enormity of what was about to happen. He initiated the final sequence. The hub's systems resisted at first, throwing error after error, warning of catastrophic failure. But Aaron remained calm. Human ingenuity was not just logic. It was creativity, persistence, and the willingness to face the impossible. He adapted, rerouted, and improvised, teaching the alien systems to accept human logic alongside theirs. Gradually, the hub began to respond. Lights flared across the vast chambers, conduits hummed, and energy flowed smoothly through pathways that had been dormant for centuries. Systems that had been abandoned awakened, recognizing him as a partner rather than an intruder. Aaron's heart raced. "We're doing it! We're really doing it!" Outside, the alien fleet hovered, confused and unable to act. Their patrols had never seen such unpredictability. Aaron realized something profound. Humans were not limited by the constraints of conventional logic. That was why they had survived against overwhelming odds, adapted to the harshest worlds, and thrived where others failed. With a final sequence, Aaron fully integrated human logic into the hub's systems. Energy streams shifted, data flowed seamlessly, and the network hummed in harmony. The impossible was achieved. The hub was no longer just an alien artifact. It was now a hybrid of alien technology and human ingenuity, guided by a single human mind. Aaron exhaled deeply, leaning back in his chair. The ship beside him pulsed softly, almost as if it were proud. He had done the unimaginable, reprogrammed an alien vessel, fought off superior fleets, and mastered the core of an ancient civilization. Humans had triumphed where others had failed. But there was no time for rest. The hub contained knowledge that could change the galaxy. Aaron accessed the data streams, downloading schematics, propulsion designs, and energy technologies that far surpassed anything humans had developed.
Each discovery was a treasure, a glimpse into possibilities humans had never dreamed of. He paused as a thought struck him.
The aliens abandoned this because they feared human creativity, and they were right to fear it. Aaron smiled. Humans were not the fastest, not the strongest, and not the most technologically advanced.
But they could think, adapt, and improvise. That was their greatest weapon.
That was why humans could achieve the impossible. He spent hours cataloging and organizing the hub's knowledge, ensuring it could be transported safely to human space.
The ship beside him hummed in quiet approval, fully loyal and responsive. Together, they had become more than the sum of their parts. A human mind and an alien vessel capable of reshaping the galaxy.
As the last of the data streams downloaded, Aaron looked out at the stars. The alien fleets had retreated, unable to comprehend the new reality.
Humans had touched the impossible and survived. The hub, once forbidden and abandoned, was now under human guidance.
A sense of pride washed over him. He thought of the countless humans who had faced impossible odds on distant planets, in harsh environments, and against hostile civilizations.
This was their legacy, amplified in a way no one had ever imagined. Aaron knew that what he had done would change the galaxy forever.
Human ingenuity, persistence, and creativity had conquered what aliens called scrap. They had achieved the impossible, not through brute strength or advanced technology alone, but through the unique human ability to adapt, improvise, and think differently. He smiled as he prepared to return to human space. The ship, once abandoned and underestimated, now carried the promise of a new era. Knowledge, power, and possibility flowed through it, guided by human hands and a human mind. As the alien hub receded into the background, Aaron set the ship on a course for home. The stars stretched endlessly before him, full of dangers and opportunities alike. Humans had shown they could survive anything, adapt to everything, and achieve what others thought impossible. Aaron glanced at the vessel beside him. "We did it," he whispered.
We really did it!
The ship pulsed gently, as if acknowledging his words. And together, human and alien vessel, they sailed toward the unknown, ready for the next impossible challenge.
For humans, the impossible was never the end. It was just the beginning. The universe had underestimated them, as it always did. And Aaron smiled, knowing that humans would continue to prove the impossible possible, time and time again.